Does value exist in art which does not last? Can true art be purchased? What is the appropriate role of art in society? The environmental and site-specific artists made admirable attempts to answer these questions. Most artists throughout history who attempted to incorporate landscape and the environment normally did so in order to draw attention to their own pieces of art, yet site-specific artists flipped the script. They used both natural and artificial materials to draw attention to the environment itself, making art in the process. This movement was highly influenced by the American ecology movement during the 1960s and 1970s, and more specifically the U.S. National Environmental Policy Act in 1969, which helped draw attention to the proliferation of pollution, depletion of natural resources, and toxic waste. As a reaction to the highly commercialized art of the 20th century, site-specific artists sought to take art out of galleries and museums into a more natural and accessible environment. The three most influential artists to emerge from this movement were undoubtedly Robert Smithson and Christo and Jeanne-Claude. Each of their unique styles shows the ambition and innovation associated with the movement. Christo and Jeanne-Claude are known for their modification of landscapes through the use of fabricated materials. Because their work incorporates the use of public lands, they require extensive planning and permission from local authorities. In this planning, Christo and Jeanne-Claude achieved a sense of community in their artwork. Their surrounded islands in Biscayne Bay, Florida, cost $3.2 million to create. This money went towards the manufacturing of 6.5 million square feet of pink floating fabric, which was to surround 11 islands in the bay. The fabric was removed only weeks after it was installed, however, staying consistent with the short-lived nature of environmental art. However, today I will be focusing primarily on Robert Smithson. He is perhaps known best for his work Spiral Jetty, a gargantuan 1,500-foot earth sculpture created in 1970, extending into Utah's Great Salt Lake and comprising black basalt, limestone rocks, and earth. The inspiration behind the work was provided when Smithson saw abandoned mining equipment left over from a failed oil extraction. In Smithson's mind, this attested to the inability of a man to conquer nature. While the work is a masterful example of site-specific art and the incorporation of the natural environment, it has many ironies. First, Smithson used industrial construction equipment to place the stones, making it a highly humanized process. Furthermore, the location is extremely remote, making it relatively inaccessible. The isolation of the location contrasts with the intentionally conspicuous nature of Christo and Jeanne-Claude's artwork. This temporary nature of the piece is also shown in the rising tides of the lake, which make the artwork accessible at only certain times during the day. Smithson truly embraced the site-specific artist doctrine of building art which responds to, and does not impose upon, the location in which it is created. This partially accounts for the reasoning behind the spiral shape. When viewing the landscape, Smithson saw suggestions of spirals everywhere he looked. Furthermore, he discovered the molecular structure of the rocks he used were spiral in form. While Spiral Jetty is looked upon as Smithson's ultimate accomplishment, he incorporated many of the same elements into another piece, entitled Broken Circle. This piece was created in 1971 in Holland. Smithson's greatest challenge in putting together this piece was incorporating the massive boulder in the middle. He viewed it as an integral part of the piece, and he believed it to be a symbol of ice. Because of the ephemeral nature of his work, Smithson's art required another medium to portray it in its full power: film. He believed his sculpture's interaction with the surrounding land was as crucial as the sculpture itself. With the aid of his wife, Nancy Holt, Smithson acquired hours of footage in the early 1970s of Broken Circle. However, because of a tragic plane crash in 1973, he was not able to fulfill his lofty ambitions with the piece. In the aftermath of his death, Holt carried on his legacy through the use of film. The importance of environmental art lies not in the art itself, but rather the ideology behind it. Artists like Smithson, Christo, and Jeanne-Claude essentially redefined art itself in their works and embraced the temporary nature of artwork, which is mirrored in the ephemerality of the environment. And while they are attributed with the ideas behind their pieces, environmental artists hope to diminish the value of an artist in art. While the movement was fairly short-lived, like its artwork, it served as a stinging criticism of modern art, and its impact is still felt today.